we got to get into some best case, worst case scenarios for the Cavs as we get ready for the upcoming season. G, you did a great job.
Get ready for the upcoming season. The upcoming season is like months away. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so I guess we get ready for the upcoming season. Everything we do before the season is we are getting ready for it.
It feels like you say that when it's like for the Browns now, because training camp's about to start.
Yeah, it is.
Tomato, whatever. The exercise is this. I gave each of you guys 3 players on the good side, 3 players on the bad side. I give you the best case and the worst case.
Yeah.
We'll start with you, Bull, and we'll ask you the best case for a player. We'll get the rebuttal from the worst case, and the third person who is not on the best or worst will kind of be the arbiter and give us their thoughts on which one's a little more realistic. So let's start with the player G asked Tom with, Evan Mobley. Bull, you had best case for Evan Mobley. In your opinion, what is the best case for Evan Mobley for the upcoming season?
I mean, we talked about it yesterday. Evan Mobley has to become the second best player on the Cavs this year, in my opinion. And then eventually become the best player if the Cavs are going to win a championship, I think, or at least have reasonable chance of winning the championship. So, and I agree with Tom. Everybody's been, and I know part of it is because Jarrett Allen can't shoot from the outside. Everybody's been so obsessed with Evan Mobley shooting the 3, and I kind of hate that that's what the NBA has become, all about shooting threes. I hate that. I love good center play, and I don't know if it's realistic, but I want to see Evan Mobley grab a rebound and throw the effing ball back in there, jam it, shove it in somebody's face, and kick some ass. But he's got to change who he is to some degree, I think. Like the way he plays. I don't know if that's possible.
That's what Tom is saying.
But he's got to become a much better scorer and be looking for his shot more. He's got to get to 20 points a game this year, I think. I think the best case scenario is he explodes from an attitude and energy, a get me the effing ball point, and becomes a 20 to 22 point scorer this year. That's the best case. Who's got the worst case?
I got the worst case, and I set this up. It was a reverse pickpocket move. 2 stanzas in front. Tom just hit on it. I knew he was going to say it.
Yeah.
He had the crystal ball. The worst case scenario for Evan Mobley is what Evan Mobley is today, which is not that bad, right?
Nice player.
Nice player,
yeah.
But it's the worst case scenario in which the Cavs can't get to the next level. So right now, Mobley is a really borderline elite defender, right? Like, you can argue whether or not he's an on-the-ball guy that can switch and how good is he, like, in terms of just in the scheme defense. But we'll just give him, he's an elite defender, right? But worst-case scenario is he never becomes a truly elite rebounder when I'm talking about 13 rebounds, 14 rebounds, right? Because, Jarrett Allen is a better rebounder than he is.
Way better.
He doesn't ever develop a consistent 3-point shot where he's taking contested threes, or he's a guy that's going to create his own shot, does not have a go-to move. But that's not that bad, right? He's gonna get a max deal. He's gonna get $234 million or whatever the case is for the max deal.
Selfish.
But the reality of the situation is, if you do give him a max, you can have worse players at a max. He's going to be a good defender. He's going to give you the 15 to 17, whatever it is. The worst case scenario is he just is good. He's never going to be an elite guy. He's not a unicorn. He's just a guy that is limited offensively at the next level, and he's going to be your second or third option on a mid team.
Arbitrator?
Well, I've heard both sides, and
what's he supposed to decide, Mike?
Both sides, whether I'm
not necessarily who's right or wrong, but just thoughts on the varying scale here of what you guys said.
So I heard both sides, and I thought both of y'all was right with what y'all was saying. Evan Mobley on the worst case, I think worst case is that he is the exact same player. He gets a couple of threes. He does have some games where he gives you some good stuff, but it's not a consistent basis. But I also can see him. Now that you got Kenny Atkinson in there, if Kenny Atkinson comes in there and forces his hand to, hey, don't look for nobody, you run the rock, or he gets some of that Donovan in him where he's like, you know what, I can be that guy. I can be aggressive. I can take over a game. And we see that. I can see that happening because I know people believe that you either born that way or you're not. And I'm telling you, that's not the case. I've seen people be able to transform themselves to having that mentality. So I believe he can develop that mentality. And I think Tom did a great job of pointing out that this dude is only 22 years old. You know, when you become 23, 24, 25, that's when you start developing, like, I'm a man. I'm a grown A man. Like, you're not going to do me like that because I'm a grown A dude. Like, I pay taxes. Like, that's where you got to be at. So I think he can develop that mindset.
Yeah.
And I think with this right coaching staff and with a guy like Donovan there, it's going to take everybody to continue to push him. But I think he can become that guy where he develops that attitude.
Let me ask you this question, McNuggets. I feel like Evan Mobley, people want him to get 22, 23 points a game. But let's say his archetype is different, like it's 2K. Say, for instance, Mobley. We talking. It's 2K. Now you give him a passing package like Jokic, and you let him be kind of a facilitator on the offense with the way he screens passes like Draymond Green, and you run your offense through the high post with Evan Mobley. Do you believe if he is a elite passing big man and could understand the game a little more like that, he does not necessarily have to get 23 points a game? If he's more of a 20-point guy, more of a 9-10 rebounds, but he's giving you 6 assists and because he can pass the ball and facilitate, do you think that would elevate the Cavs the same as him shooting?
Yes and no at the same time. I don't think it's the number of points he scores per game that shows necessarily his offensive progression, because if Donovan and Darius still going to have the ball as frequently as they have, it's just a shot attempts. He shot 57% from the floor. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like he's taking a bunch and missing. He just doesn't get a ton of opportunities. His growth, whether it's as a shooter or a playmaker, using him in ways to unlock more space on the court for their driving guards is the biggest asset. Now, shooting's the most traditional, easiest way to do it. If he's facilitating offense from the high post, you still have Jarrett Allen who's clogging the lane. So it's give and take. But his best skill set right now, today, as of 12:38 on July 17th, offensively is his ability to play make and pass. And if Atkinson doesn't tap into that more, I absolutely would be shocked. So let's put it that way.
One last thing that has very little to do with this conversation, but G. Bush mentioned that that Evan Mobley's going to sign a max contract for, what is he getting to?
Selfish is what he's getting.
He's getting selfish for 200, how much million?
How many?
226.
Okay. It's so funny because people talk about the salaries in baseball because there's a disparity, right? But the interesting thing is basketball is really the only sport of the big three, outside of like second-tier quarterbacks. It's really the only sport that guys consistently, that the non-superstars get consistently overpaid. Evan Mobley is not worth $230 million. That's crazy.
Right.
He's been, from an offensive standpoint, he's an average NBA player at best.
Why you think all the young kids play basketball?
Yeah. Like in football, the only guys that get there's individual players that end up getting overpaid.
You know what?
But only like the second-tier quarterbacks get overpaid. In baseball, the only guys that get huge contracts are the stars.
And you know what, though? I be watching these contracts, and I get upset a little bit because I see people steal money in the NFL all the time. And all I wanted was a couple $1 million. That's it. I didn't even want to rob y'all. I didn't even want to rob y'all for 20. I just wanted like 5. That was it. Like, that was.
You would have taken 2?
I'd have taken 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all giving the money away, give it to me.
Yeah, Tyvus is a good guy. Brings high character. High character guy.
Locker room guy. Like, get everybody fired.
We got to get through a couple.
They hire these dopes. They're low character guys. Pay them all kinds of crazy money.
Tyvus, what's the best case for Darius Garland? In 2024.
The best case for Darius Garland is that he gets back to being the all-star that he once was. He learns how to not only is he a good facilitator, but he does learn how to be much more effective without the ball in his hand. We know that he can shoot the ball at a high clip. So with this Kenny Atkinson offense, due to the fact that I think it's going to be a lot of movement in there, he'll be great at catching shots, hitting the wide open trays, but also being able to do backdoor cuts. And Tom said that he might be affected by the jaw injury. He gets back to being a stronger finisher at the rim, because we know from McNuggets that Kenny Atkinson loves threes and layups or drives to the cup. So hopefully, I think in the best case scenario, he's a great playmaker. He's hitting his shots, and he can get you back door and hit you with a nice layup.
G? Once again, you got worst case here. I didn't mean to do back-to-back.
Okay.
What's the worst case for Darius Garland?
Well, the worst case for Darius Garland is a lot like Evan Mobley. It's not that bad. The problem with him is he already got the max deal. He's living up to the max contract, and he's living up to the expectations of being the second best player. The worst thing that happens to Darius Garland is we found out that he's the second best player on a mid-team. So if you're the second best player on a mid-team, that means you don't really affect the game all that much in terms of winning. I feel like Darius Garland, worst case scenario, is who Darius Garland is right now. He's a guy that is going to have 18 points. He's going to shoot a nice sum of, from beyond the three-point arc, maybe 37, almost 40%. He's going to give you about 6 dimes. He's going to turn the ball over a little bit. But when you get to the playoffs, he's going to be a person that is going to be a defensive liability. He's going to be a person that may not show up every single game, and you can't count on him getting 25 or 26 or carrying the team. And he's sleight of frame. For me, Darius Garland, they need to change the way they look at Darius Garland. Darius Garland needs to be a guy who is making his moves with 3 to 4 dribbles and making a decision rather than 8 or 9. I think they also play way too slow of a pace for Darius Garland. Like, he's too sleight of frame. He does not finish well enough in a basket. The Cavs in general need to get out and run more and get more easy baskets against less set defenses, especially when you got big wings like you're playing against the Boston Celtics and guys that beat you up physically like the Knicks. Get out and run. JB played way too slow of a pace. I want to see him run on misses and makes, and he could get 4 to 5 points just in the open court because he's out moving without the ball. He need to make quicker decisions, and I think if they moved the ball out of his hands some and he pushed the pace and shot more threes like Tyvis said, I think he could be more of an effective player with less dribbling, less moving around. He just needs to get the ball, make quick decisions, get out.
I think enough's been said on Darius. Let's move on to the next guy, Mike.
Donovan Mitchell, you're on the good side of this. What's the best case scenario for Donovan Mitchell? You sent me a very detailed answer on this
listen,
his notes.
I got to get to my notes on Donovan Mitchell. That's the best case for Donovan Mitchell. You missed under 10 games in the regular season. I need you to see your durability under 10 games. No games in the playoffs. We need you ready to go every single game, and it's just like we talked about Deshaun Watson. Hey, if Deshaun's out there for 17 games, the numbers will be there. The same with Donovan Mitchell. If he's out there in the playoffs, the numbers will be here. But here's the thing. I want him to be way more efficient. I want him to have a career high in assists. I want to put the ball more in Donovan's hand. I like what I saw last year. I want him to be the de facto point guard. I want to see him get about 7.9 to 8.1 assists, right? I want a career high in offensive rating. I looked at the offensive rating. I needed him to be at a 122. To put that in perspective, that will put him in the top 5 in the league with guys like Luka, guys like LeBron, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 122 or better. I like his PER. I need that to be 28 or above. Now, you can get in the top, 10 with 24 PER. But if that puts you at 28, that means he's at the top 5 of players that affect the game with the jokers and guys that there. And the reason I'm saying that is I'm not saying points. You notice I didn't say points because what I want to do is I want to facilitate. I want to get Evan Mobley more involved. So if Evan Mobley is going to be more involved, I need him to be more efficient with the touches that he does have. Mm-hmm. And so I think if you defer, get Evan Mobley to be more vocal, get him as a playmaker, the ball comes out of your hand a little bit more, less shots. You notice I didn't say anything about the points. He's going to get his 24, 25 because it's just Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. But I want more efficiency and health.
The health is the only thing on the downside. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's a star. He's a superstar. I mean, he's a great player. He's not going to just have a bad season statistically.
No.
He's going to put up his numbers. He's going to play great most of the time. It's only about health. You talk about during the regular season, he missed time in the playoffs, and once he was done in the playoffs, that was it. The Cavs had no chance. Obviously, wasn't overly likely they were going to beat Boston anyway, but without Donovan Mitchell, they had no chance. So the worst-case scenario is we're starting the playoffs with no Donovan Mitchell, which means they don't go anywhere and they get swept in the first round.
Right.
No matter what happened during the season.
McNuggets, do you think Donovan could be in the 50-40-90 club? You think he's good enough to do that?
No. I mean, With the much as he shoots volume-wise, no, I don't think so. I don't think he'll be far off, but I don't think he's ever shot in that efficiently, especially from 3.
Yeah.
Like his career highs. I'll pull it up right now for you.
What was his best 3-point percentage?
In his career for an entire season, his best field goal percentage ever was 48%. His best 3-point percentage ever was 38.6.
He close.
And he's never shot 50, 40, or 90 for a season in his career.
But he's close though.
I was in the 50, 40, 90 club as a sophomore in baseball in high school.
Nice. Tyvus, what's the best?
You didn't even ask me what it was, Mike.
That was the quickest move along.
Yeah, Mike.
Moving right along.
What's 50, 40,
No,
90
I'm not
in
saying
baseball?
it now. Forget
50
it.
homers, 40
No,
stolen bases.
I'm not saying it. I had what I thought was a good joke, but it's now
Sorry.
been ruined. By you.
Jarrett Allen, Tyvus.
Couldn't
best
play
case for
along for
Jarrett
2
Allen.
minutes because we got to do best case, worst case scenario. Well, we already know the answer to best case, worst case scenario. Go.
Jarrett Allen, Tyvus. What do you got?
The best case for Jarrett Allen is, first of all, staying healthy. I think we've seen the best of Jarrett Allen.
Haven't we?
I don't think
so.
unless he develops, the best case is he develops a jump shot. He developed a midi like that. Oh, he changed the game. But I don't.
He's peaked right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think we can get much better. The best case is that he stays who he is.
The worst case,
And maybe and develop a midi.
the worst case if he shaves his hair, he'd be the only black guy that would look bad with a bald head. I love his hair. He can't be bald. That happened.
Here's the thing about Jarrett Allen. This is what we talked about. Jarrett Allen, best case, you're going to the bench. We're moving you to the 5.
Dang.
Listen. Just bear with me.
The worst case for him.
Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen cannot play together. One of the things that we're talking about, you got 2 athletic bigs, 2 bigs that can run the floor better than anybody. I need to split them up. I need to put him with that second unit, and he's going to continue to do what he do in the second unit. You got 2 guys that could be anchors at 5. He's going to run. He's going to rebound. He's going to set good screens. He's going to do all the Jarrett Allen stuff that he's going to do. And the crazy thing about moving him to the bench is he's still going to give you what he's going to give you. He's still going to end up with about 14 and 10 because that's what he do.
This the guy that's about to get paid, right?
Oh, hey, listen, we don't care where they at. We're going to pay them. We're going to slide them for
about winning.
What we want to do. The Cavs, if they're not going to make no moves, they got to complete two different rosters. First team, second team. You move Allen down there, and now you got guys that can come off the bench, and you surround them with them. Dean Wade, shooter. Max Strus, shooter.
LeVert.
Amani Bates, shooter. I'm moving LeVert to the starting lineup.
Oh, you are.
And I'm starting.
On that exact thought, you have LeVert as a best case. So what is the best case for LeVert as a starter, which you did text me last night saying you were going to mention?
Listen, best case for LeVert is he comes and he's your J.R. Smith. He's a guy that he's athletic. He's 6'6". I need him to shoot way more threes. Again, we need to get out and run. You're a guy that if we're gonna play a smaller lineup, you're gonna be a guy that I'm gonna ask to shoot a lot of threes. You're gonna be a guy that I think if they switch on pick and rolls and you got a big on you since we're going small, it's either a layup or a 3. No mid-range game, Mr. LeVert. But I think that he has more size, and he's another guy that can knock down shots and be a playmaker. Underrated playmaker last year. So I think LeVert is a guy that if you put him with the right squad with him and Darius Garland, you got LeVert out there, you play Mobley at the 5, and then people are going to think, oh, here comes the Imani Bates. Here comes Imani Bates. No, Imani Bates is with the second unit fighting for some minutes. I'm starting Jalen Tyson. He's starting at 4.
Yeah.
And now I got a guy because he has a defensive mindset. I like his physicality. He's big. Now all he got to do, hit open shots. Josh Hart, this is your game. You Josh Hart, the new one with a ponytail. That's what you're gonna be. That's my 5. And that's how we're rolling.
The worst case. The worst case for Caris LeVert is, he's already a one-trick pony. Is that
what? I ain't heard that in a while.
Is that the only one thing he does well, which is can be a hot scorer at times, that he totally craters in his shooting, and he's out of the league by the end of the year. Max
Strus, Bull. Best case for Strus.
He becomes a better player. I don't know.
I'll give you the answer on Strus then.
Max Strus becomes is used like he was used in Miami
There you
so
go.
they can get the best out of him. And if I'm going to keep my title as most
I was about to
improved
say, that's it.
basketball analyst,
Way to
I got to
bounce
give
back.
a real answer.
Way to bounce
He's
back.
got to be it. He thought, you know how you before talked about like when you're the man, everybody knows you're the man.
Mm-hmm.
Like Max Strus thought he was the man.
Yeah, he did.
He ain't the man.
He came in pulling.
I don't know what the hell he thinks. Who the hell he thinks he is? But he's got to get back to being Miami, and this coaching staff has got to get back to making him the Miami version of himself, because that was a good player that could help the Cavs more than he did last year.
Well, I'm going to say a little bit of the best case scenario for him is that they figure out he gets in and actually plays the 2 rather than the 3.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
he can be where he's naturally supposed to be. Worst case scenario, though, because that's what I'm arguing, is that he's the same guy that we saw this year. He was a guy that was very inconsistent from Trey, played the 3 out of position, really didn't do a lot on the defensive side, and when you needed him the most to hit those big-time threes, he didn't come through for you. That's the worst case scenario for him.
I mean, worst case, they still tried him out there as a 3.
And he continues to steal money.
And he gets his mouth tore out by Jalen, and Jalen Brown and all the other 3s that is 10 inches taller than him. They move him back to the bench, and guess what? He could come off. He come off the bench. Craig Porter Jr. is a non-shooter. I want you to be a facilitator. You can be Delonte West. And then what I'm going to do is you come off screens. I got pinned down action for you. We're going to play at the 2. We're going to surround you by shooters and spacing. Dean Wade will be in that mix. Damani Bates will be in that mix. You're going to keep these guys. Oh, yeah. He's in there.
Imani in there this year,
He
huh?
in there.
Yeah.
We're going to spread this floor. And he'll be a person that has no conscience coming off the bench. He ain't got to have to start him.
We got
Dean Wade next?
No, Dean Wade's going to end with, but Tyvis first, best case for George Niang.
Oh, my gosh. When you gave me that, I was so upset.
George Niang is such a
Listen,
slapper.
best case for George Niang is that George Niang comes off the bench at that 4 position, and he gives you that stretch. He's that guy that brings some attitude to you. He has it in him because we've seen moments where he came off, hit them corner trays, and he was a problem. He absolutely stretches the floor out and makes it hard for those defenders to try to have that help side defense. And also on the defensive side, he's a guy that can bang down there in the paint, get you some rebounds, outlets, and run the floor.
The best case is also they take the S off his name, because if he's going to call himself George, I know a guy, my good friend George it's Georges. His name is Georges. If you have an S at the end of the name, your name is Georges, not George. Let's go.
Hey, man.
Gee, what's worst case?
Worst case scenario.
What we saw last
I
year.
was so mad he gave me that.
Is he does not dedicate himself to getting in tip-top physical condition.
Yeah.
I need you to be able to run the floor right now.
Right now he's on the Adam the Bull diet.
Right now he's a shooter.
That's
And
not
he
his game.
No, but he can get into a shape where you don't want to put yourself in to be a defensive liability. And right now he can hit shots. He could be a stretch forward, but he gotta be able to run the floor. Like I said, the new objective is for the Cavs to get where they need to go. They need to play with the most pace. They need to get the most shots up. They need to lead the league in 3-point attempts. And to do that, you need your bigs to be able to run the floor, relocate, and pull up. At this point, I don't think that he is in that type of physical shape to be able to play at that pace. So he got to get in that shape.
You want them to shoot the most 3. They
Yes.
should have hired Mike D'Antoni. Because he don't care. I want you to shoot 70 of them a game.
And I want you. And he was at Golden State. What made Golden State so dominant when they was balling? Guess what? They was pulling up from half court. You got the
Well,
pick
they're
and
2 of the greatest shooters ever, though.
Granted, I know
Yeah.
we ain't got them yet, but we still want them to have that threat.
Yeah, Mikey,
30 seconds to end it. Dean Wade, best case scenario.
just be healthy. I mean, he's a nice contributing piece, but he's always hurt. So that's the best case is he stays healthy for a whole year and can do what we've seen glimpses of, which is be a pretty good defender, a good rebounder, and a pest for the other team.
We want to see more of the Vanilla Wolf. We haven't seen it.
Yeah.
That was